sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes us out before you make it. Yeah, you start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is thriller, thriller night. And no one's gonna save you from the beast that's about to strike. You know it's thriller, thriller night. And fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. You hear the door slam and realize that there's nowhere left to run. You feel the cold hands and wonder if you'll ever see the sun. You close your eyes and hope that this is just imagination, girl. But all the while, you hear a creature creeping up behind, and you're out of time. 'Cause this is thriller, thriller night. There ain't no second chance to kiss a thing with 40 eyes, girl. Thriller, thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. Night creatures crawling, the dead start to walk in their masquerade. No, there's no escaping the jaws of this alien tonight. This is the end of your life. Come on, come on. Thriller, thriller night. 'Cause I can thrill you more than any ghouls would ever dare try. Thriller night. So let me hold you tight and share a killer, thriller tonight. Thriller, thriller night. Girl, I can thrill you more than any ghoul would ever dare try. Thriller night. So let me hold you tight inside a killer thriller tonight. I'm gonna thrill you tonight.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell. The foulest stenches in the air, the funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver. For no mere mortal can resist the evil of the thriller.
That is what I'm talking about. Welcome, Arvanauts, to a Halloween special. It is 2025. It is October 31st. Happy Halloween, everybody. I hope everyone had a safe one and a good one and a comfortable one. It is great to see everyone here tonight, and I am excited for one of my favorite events of the year, and that is the annual Halloween special with the incredible Duende with a cover of Thriller. I've used this for quite a bit, a number of times on Halloween specials specifically. They do a lot of great ones. They have a Bill Withers cover as well of A Lovely Day and a number of other things. They're really great. But they're an a cappella group, which I tried to get get once for a live performance on the channel, but wasn't able to do so. They were super busy, and so wasn't able to do it. But they're amazing, and I love to be able to play that at least that once a year. So welcome everybody. It is October 31st, and it is our Halloween special. We will begin tonight with the finale of Far Loan Sales, and then when that is finished, we're going to be going on to the main event of the evening, I suppose you might call it, and that is our Edgar Allan Poe reading with two things on the docket. The first is his story Hop Frog, which is a story that I have not read before live anyway. I've read it before, but I have not read it before live. It is something, and I'm looking forward to it. And then it will be followed, of course, as always. I appreciate that. It's always good to see you, Dark and Wolf. It's always good to see everyone stopping by for these things. A lot of people stop by for the Christmas Carol. A lot of people with our vocalists. A lot of people stop by for the holiday shows, and obviously ArvCon and all that. So it's great to see everyone throughout the year, and I am excited for this one. And then we will finish up, of course, as we always do, with Edgar Allan Poe's incredible, great, amazing The Raven. So we'll do that. But before we do that, just a couple of reminders about ways to support the channel. If you haven't done so already, please follow the channel. That is very much appreciated. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube, and thank you for those of you who are watching over on there already. Please spread the word about that. Subscribe there. It's free for you to do that, but it really helps us out. Discord is !ArvCord. You can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Blue Sky is !ArvSky. Please do follow us over there, because I always try to post when I'm going live and about things going on with me in the world of Arv. And just posted something today about a new writing short that I did, actually. And then we have, of course, Gen GMs, the GMDM tip show that I do with one Mr. Zach Clay, who I played Gloomhaven with last night, and that is !Gen GM's website for all this, arvanelleron.com. Financially, !Arv Shop, that's the merchandise area. !Arvtreon is the Patreon. We're trying to build that up to triple digits. So please consider jumping on board with support for that. You get cool stuff for yourself that you can't get just from subbing, and also, of course, move us towards various channel goals. You can also sub to the channel, which is another great way to support us. You get those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch, which really helps us out as well. So please do both of those things if you can. On the publishing front, Icarus is my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Library, that's my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment, and Greyshade, that's my Greyshade IP. Greyshade, Renegade, and Heretic from Athos Arts, the Grey Assassin trilogy, critically acclaimed, award-winning, available at that link. You can also get the audiobook of Greyshade from our very own Trent Sparks. Be on the lookout for Renegade and Heretic audiobooks coming soon. And, of course, you can pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade from our very own Brandon O'Brien, coming out from Alligator Alley in just a few short weeks, so please jump on board and support us there as well. And as always, BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Very important to reach out to others when you need help, and reach out to others when they need help as well. And Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage, and send the message that will do so for others in that situation in the future. Reason that I'm coming to you tonight, as opposed to another night, is for two reasons. Number one, I always try to at least do the Edgar Allan Poe reading on, unless I absolutely can, I always try to do that on Halloween evening. That's one thing. But also, I'm doing this because I am not going to be streaming in all likelihood tomorrow. Saturday, I have an event that I'm going to be doing, so I'm not going to be available for that, so I thought I would stream tonight instead. We had our trick-or-treat. It went really well. My son went dressed as Russell from Up. That's the Boy Scout character. And he had with him the house as like a little bucket that he had a bunch of helium balloons attached to, which was very cute. It's pretty windy around here, so we had to be careful with that. So he did quite well. And his favorite part, honestly, is not even going and getting treats. It's giving out trick-or-treat like candy to others. So that was really cool. We came back and then we did a bunch of that, and we gave away all the candy. And my daughter went, little Arv went dressed as the Cheshire Cat, as an outfit that she largely made herself, the Disney Cheshire Cat, the purple and blue. So it was fun. It was a good time. I enjoyed myself, and I am very happy to be with all of you now. Hello, Sturma. So it's good to see everybody, and let's get into it, he said, this way. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Welcome, welcome. I am starting out as a more normal sort of figure, as you might expect. But trust me, when we switch over to the Edgar Allan Poe reading, I will enter the persona needed that is appropriate for the season. But at least at the beginning, we're going to start with Far Lone Sails, and then we will move into the amazingness of Edgar Allan Poe. So that's what we're looking at. Let me move over there. And let's get rolling. I was reliably told this should not be super long to complete, and so I am trusting people who told me that. I have been led wrong before by people who are like, oh yeah, it'll only take you another, half hour and then 2 hours later. But I trust that we are, in good shape for this, and so we can finish this up. I'm not going to do this and Sword in the Sea, though. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do the Edgar Allan Poe reading, so that's what we're looking at. But I'm excited. So if you're here for Edgar Allan Poe, please do not leave. Please stick around for Far Lone Sails, which I think has a good vibe for this. I have sometimes on Halloween specials, I have actually done like Sunless Sea, which I think is a good one for this, or other stuff. I think I did maybe, God, what was it called? Not Candy Quest. There's a game. Is it Halloween Quest? There's an old RPG, not old, but like 5, 6, 7 years old. Treasure Quest. There's like an independent game where you're running around and you're like collecting Halloween like candy, but there's a whole like RPG element to it. But I can't remember exactly. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, right. Let's do this. It's gonna come to me. Costume Quest. That's it. Costume Quest. Literally, as I was thinking Costume Quest and looking over, that's what it was. Yes. So I've done that before too. Right. How do I play this? Oh yeah, play it this way. Should be able to. Do I have a half? I do. Okay, I kind of didn't mean to do that, but. Not what I meant to do. Okay, you go down there. Okay. Let's get up here and let's get those sails going. Come on, man. Oh, God. These lightning storms, man. What? Damn it, I thought I took out the friggin' fire. Bro! Okay, let's go. Get inside, please. What? Dude, what the frick? What the heck? What is going on? It's hell and heal. I mean hail. Oh my god. Can you... Okay. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. Maybe I have to, like, fix it somehow? I don't... Fixed. Oh, I don't have any energy though. I'm assuming it's damage from the hail, but like I can't really do anything about it because there's nothing. I don't understand. I mean, I was running around and it wasn't putting the fire out, and I was like, I don't know. Is this me saying I have to reload this again? I don't know what the hell just happened there. That was really weird. All right, I mean, I guess I'm going to do the Steam thing again, and I guess we'll try to get under cover and then put everything out. It's the only thing I can think of. These hailstorms suck, by the way. Get underground, get underground. Okay. Now I activate everything again, I guess. Oh, I see it. Okay. Okay, so that's that. I still don't entirely know what I'm supposed to do. Hey, what's up, Shadowed? Happy Halloween, everybody. I guess I have to... I mean, I guess what I have to do is I have to, go out in this somehow and, like, hope that now I've done enough, like, I fixed enough of it that... I missed your entrance earlier. No, Shadow. I saw your. I saw the skulls. I thought I acknowledged them, but if I did not, I apologize. But happy Halloween, man. Get under there, get under there, get under there. Okay. Okay, let's put this fire out. Okay. That music, that was sort of like weird strings when it's okay. Woo! We did it. Grab that box. Turn off that vacuum cleaner. Let me scout ahead. See if I can find what I need. Go in here. All right, maybe this will do the job. We'll see. Boy, I wish I had more hooks in this ship. Excuse you? Oh, well, maybe it doesn't matter, actually. Okay. All right. Right, well. See what we have here. Well, well. I was not expecting that elevator. Oh. Okay. Can I push this? Am I gonna have to, like, roll this and time it? What? Interesting. Looks like something over there has to be pushed. Every night will be another evil scene, like in hard dreams. I might command your screen. Halloween, where my pride. Halloween, not just a dream. Thanks for the cheers, Shadowed. All right, I'm not familiar. What's the song from? King Diamond. I mean, why is Halloween? Halloween, why would you be mentioning that these days? Okay. What? What? Heavy metal Halloween classic. I need to. I am not familiar with that. I'm gonna need to check that out. Can I? King Diamond, 1986. Wow. How can I? I wonder if I can... All right, let me see. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Oh, yeah? My daughter was asking me earlier today if I had any thoughts about the song Teenage Dirtbag, speaking of falsetto. What? What are you talking about? Do not understand. What? I mean, that, okay. That up there is an energy thing. Like, that requires, that's an energy source. It's Teenage Dirtbag, baby. Yeah. I saw this little short about how he first came up with the idea. Okay, so I need to figure out how to get this thing, get this elevator up with that energy barrel, so I can put that in so I can power that. But it seems to be stuck. or something. Stuck, maybe? I wonder if I need to get on the barrel to hit that. Which means I need to push this back. So, get the barrel. Because I can't do anything with that wire either. And that also doesn't seem to be doing anything. So... the fact that the cart moves pretty well. The barrel on the red button. Well, also hi Elsters. The problem is, I mean... oh, wait a minute. Okay, I don't think I realized this. Ah. Okay. 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 Ha ha ha! Yes, that's the gear we need to get that elevator working. We have done it. We have manufactured a gear, which will get this elevator working, which will let me get the barrel. Ha-ha. Yes, indeed. Okay. Okay. Hey, okay. Ha-ha. Kind of have more energy than I know what to do with, to be honest. Oh, jeez. Okay. All right, here we go. So now, hi, Mrs. Dunsel. Happy Halloween. After we win this game, it is Edgar Allan Poe time. Full speed ahead, Jeeves. And now forward. This is how we do it downtown. Okay. I don't love the vacuum because I feel like I don't have any control over it, and then I have to go up there and empty it out anyway, which is frankly annoying. Oh, are you gonna make me do that? Oh, come on, man. So I like doing it the old-fashioned way, even though it's not super efficient. Actually, wait, let's do that. So I have the vacuum. If the vacuum had some way that it could be like upgraded so that I wouldn't have to babysit it all the time, that would be useful. But it is not that way. Here we go. Stand by the brakes. Sails. Give me some wind power, please. Whoops. Here we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got like 8 energy sources left. Okay. Love the little musical interludes in this game. Oh, now we got some snow. Yeah, I know. I did notice that. Actually, no, they're not. That's not... No, the wind is blowing... The flag is blowing with the wind, right? I think that's right. The wind is blowing with the wind, and so it's blowing with the sails, right? I think. Unless I'm misunderstanding something, I think this is right. I think. Flag is right with it. Yeah, I think so. I love this freaking ship, too. No problem with wind power right now. Okay, yeah, I thought it was close, but I thought it was the same. Picking up that flame barrel, that would be bad news. It works, but then you have to, like, fix everything, and it's no good. Yeah. No, I get that. I can see that, yeah. Oh, we're gonna get stopped. Well. Guess I'm going to have to attend to this. We're going to do this. Went Kool-Aid Man on that crossing post. Yeah, well, because what I realized this term the other day was that I sat there forever trying to figure out what was wrong in the workshop, and it was because I literally hadn't just banged the freaking ship right into the far end, and I was like, okay, well, I guess that... That's what I'm going to do, yeah, because you can jump on top of it. Thank you for the raid, Big Fatty Plus. BYG raid. What's going on, man? Thank you so much, Big Fatty Plus. I appreciate it. Good to see you. I am doing well. Happy Halloween. I'm finishing up this game, and then we're doing our annual Edgar Allan Poe reading. So welcome, raiders. Appreciate it. How? What were you playing today? If I may ask. I see pipes. It looks like there's water that's powering that thing, but not enough. Thank you, Big Fatty Plus. What were you playing today? I wonder if I can get over here. Doing some Tomb Raider Remastered. Oh, very nice. I played, well, I mean, in addition to the original Tomb Raiders, I played the Tomb Raider reboot, which I thought was pretty good. I did not play the follow-up to the Tomb Raider reboot, which is a whole other thing, but... That's not it. So you're close to the end? Tomb Raider was such a good game. So good. Okay, can I... I'm going to assume I can't. Ah! That got me high enough, it looks like. Okay. So now... Actually, no. Drop that there. You don't like the combat, everything is good. Yeah. Yeah, and you're in the Tomb Raider Remastered, you're talking the original Tomb Raider, but it was remastered, right? You're not talking the reboot. Because Tomb Raider, like the original Tomb Raider and the remastered version of it, like the combat was meh. Like it was always kind of janky, honestly. So... Can I hit it with what? Okay, wait a minute. Yeah. I bet I know what to do. Yes, I saw that. I am rooting for the Jays myself. They always had a tough matchup because they were going up against Yamamoto. So I saw that myself. I've been very impressed with them, and I would like them to win. Yeah, first order of business is to stop the Yankees from scoring anything else. Okay, I mean, the Yankees. Yankees aren't even there. To stop the Dodgers from doing anything else. Nope, that's not it. That's not what I meant to do. We need the water. Yep. Huzzah. Thank you for the follow, Helsters. Appreciate it. Okay, sounds good. Okay, well done so far. Great. Now, be so kind. Now we winch that bad boy in. Yep. And that is how we do it. My only real complaint, honestly, about this game is just the fact that it's too crowded inside this damn ship. Okay. Stand by the brakes. No, 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 I didn't mean now. Okay. Made it out. You can do it. Suddenly rails. Okay. Whoops. There. Oh, I see how to do it. So then I go up there. Then I go over here. Yeah. This guy does not skip leg day, people. Let's go. Let's go. All right, bottom of the night, shadowed. Okay. So that means we get to get going again. Here we go. Not ask you to hit the brakes. I asked you to go near the brakes. I wish the brakes were not in that same spot. Okay. Keep it up. Oh yeah. Thanks. You're right. Whoopsie! Damn it, it's Turma. Okay. Yes? What? Hang on a second. Okay, hold on a second, chat. I'm just putting in a note to myself. Let's make that. Okay. Lovely. Look at all the smog I caused with my engine. Yes, but then I had to use all this. I wasted water to put out the fire because my sails got banged down. Okay. I shall fix that. Okay. However, it's not going to make much of a difference. Okay, up we go. This is kind of a combination. Oh, cool, Triffid. This is kind of a combination of, it's a puzzler and kind of an exploration story-based thing, I think is the way that I would describe it. It has elements of, it reminds me about a few games. There's a game called About Us that was about wandering through the wilderness with your, through the Arctic snow with a companion. This has also got other elements of like balancing out, like make this run this. It reminds me a little bit of FTL in some ways as well. So there's a lot of it's very chill in a lot of ways, although not always entirely, but it's cool. It's also very cheap. Wow, Isturma, I am the Captain Planet eco-terrorist. That's obviously not it. Oh, I see how. What's neat is the way in which you can manipulate parts of your environment to get, like, you know, basically heights and things like that. It's not complicated, but I think it's elegant a lot of times. So, like, this way I can go up here. And now I'm up here. I also have no idea what happened to this world, honestly. So there's also that. Okay. Geez, our villain going to try pollution up from zero. Super Star Wars. That's interesting. I don't think I would have thought of that one. That's interesting. There's also, and there's a lot of good set piece moments in this too. Oh, cooking with gas. You got people on second and third and nobody out. Hang on just a second. Villain doesn't rhyme with 0. Yeah, I would not have thought of that one. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just wouldn't have thought of that specifically. Okay. Right. Okay. I just have game day on. I just have game day on because I'm a Red Sox fan, but I have no real, this is cool. I have no real objection to the Blue Jays, honestly, and frankly, I have a lot of love for Canada and a lot more love for Canada, to be perfectly honest, than my own country at the moment, so... Oh my god, this ship. Look at the zoom out. Oh, look at the zoom out. Wow. Oh my goodness. Holy crap. Wild. It, again, the scale, the work with scale. Amazing. That was super cool. Not yet, no. I have to assume I'm getting pretty close, though. Said doubtfully. Oh. Okay, I guess I can't walk through that. How far does this hose go? It can't possibly go that far, right? Little confused about this. Lines into a double play. Wow. Well, game 7 tomorrow. One game for all the marbles. Listen, Toronto's really, really tough. They are very, very tough. They lost that 18-inning game, came right back. They got a great shot tomorrow. Yamamoto is super tough for the Dodgers. I think they have a shot. I think that Toronto is a real shot. Actually, you know what? Wait. Maybe if I do this. What? Maybe there's something up there that I'm not seeing. I maybe, again, I have a tendency to, when I play this game, I'm like, oh, this makes sense, and then I overthink it. Maybe there's something else I can do. Which means I gotta push this back. Or pull this back. Yeah, so I feel like I've got to be pretty close now to the end. Can't go back up there again. Which means I either have to do something here. No, so I can't get back up there again, which means I don't know. Which means I can either ramming speed this through, or it did ramming speed through. But you know what that does mean? It means it's close enough to get the water there. I was on the right track. Okay. Okay. So now attach that. Come up here. Activate the energy here. Now I'm starting to get a little low on energy. If you want to sound like a Canadian. All right, so if I go Okay. Something stuck down there. All right. Okay. Ooh, nice. Hang on a second. First, I got to pick up some energy. Pick up some energy. Pick up some energy. So, going to pick up these energy things and then hit that button. Although I might just be rolling over it in a minute anyway, and probably could just pick it up that way, but I don't want to take any chances, to be honest. Whoops, not what I meant to do. Great. All right, now I need to go up here. I need to go and hit this. Really hope I can jump up here without needing anything else. Can't. Oh, I really hope I didn't soft lock myself just then. No, I guess I didn't. Just have it stopping again. No, it's not doing anything. So, did this open up? Well, this opened up. Okay. Interesting. I'm guessing I have to use my winch to get down there somehow. I don't entirely know how to do that. Whoops. Oh shoot. I was right there and I just was like, how about I just release that? Okay. Okay, so my winch can... Oh, are you kidding me? I gotta jump over that. Maybe that's now enough weight. No. Okay. Oh, wait, no, I still need to get... Yep. Okay. So now... One more time. Ramming speed? Your Wenchkin. What? What? Okay. So now can I push this? More dreadnought movement. Okay. Time for us to go, I think. Let's go. Ramming speed. Oh. Oh. Haha! Just a little early. Here we go. Wait, stop. Whoop, 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 whoop. Stop. This time I actually need energy. Not you. You stay there. The top left. That is I think it's actually a browser source, which Netawin made way back in the day, Shadowed. And I have definitely thought about figuring out how to at some point replace it, because although it's great and I really like it, I actually really do like the way it looks and is designed, but it's not super easy to, it's like a little janky to adjust. It's years and years old in terms of the original code. Yeah, it's good stuff, Big Fatty. It really is. And This is not expensive either. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but uh-oh. It sounds bad. Volcano? Oh god. Speed, 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 speed. We need speed. Oh my god. Oh no! Oh no! My ship! Oh no, my ship! That was really cool though. Oh my god. Run away! Wait. Wait. Is that... Wait, what? What just happened? It's like it followed me? Does it work just on its own? See, there's a lesson, chat. Fossil fuels are not your friend. It's a balance thing. If I'm back here, then it stays balanced. Shit. Damn it. Okay. Oh, okay. A lighthouse. Gondor calls for aid. A signal fire. This game is paced exceptionally well. What's up, Golden Drake? Happy Halloween. Edgar Allan Poe reading forthcoming. The water is rising. Will someone come? A horn. Wow. 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 What an exceptional game. Boy. Talk about something delivering on a concept and idea. What a really, really, really well-designed game. I know I have to play the sequel at some point. Wow. The scale and scope of that and the way that it paces it so that it reveals it. That whole thing at the end with the volcano where I'm like, oh my God, speed, 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 speed. And then to get to the end and just the signal fire. Wild. That's probably an 8 out of 10 for me. Other than like feeling like, and also the music was on point too. Other than feeling like the inside of the ship got too crowded. Very, very good. Wow. Super cool. Very impressed. What's the sequel called again? Near loan sales? Far group sales? Far group sales. I love that ending too. That thing of getting to the end, like with just barely anything left, you just have to get it as far as you can. And then I wonder if you can just sort of wander along, but obviously you can sort of just slam into it, and then you run up, and then you light the signal fire. And we still don't know exactly what happened, except that there's clearly other people that exist in this world. Far changing tides. Very, very good. And you know, for a game that just has one simple mechanic, what like the goal is go right. Just keep going right. Every day I'm rolling right. Like you just keep rolling right. For a game like that, man, I am very impressed. That was very good. And I love this music. Oh, man. Well done. Well done. Super good. Really like that a lot. You know, that very well could be a that could be very well a so I was rolling the Hayden. That could very well be a sleeper top 10 game of the year in October for me. Could very well be. Because if I think about it, I mean, there really isn't anything wrong with it. Like, there's nothing that I'm like, oh man, I wish this or that or the other. Like, slightly janky, I guess, for controls here and there, but it's also a little weird to say that because it's almost like, I don't know, man. That's really good. So, good job. Thank you for those who nominated it, which I think was Imaginary Exponent and Effect Life. Excellent stuff. Very, very good stuff. All right, we're going to watch the end of these credits, and then we will wrap this. And then I am going to take about 2-3 minutes to get prepped. And then we are going to do our Edgar Allan Poe reading. I'm reading 2 things tonight. I'm going to be reading the short story Hop Frog, which I have not read before. I've read it personally, but I have not read it on stream before. And then I will be finishing, as I always do, with that's by Edgar Allan Poe, and then I'll be finishing with the Edgar Allan Poe poem, The Raven. So I will transform over into my Halloweenish type form. I will also try to put a warning down below, because a content warning, because there is some offensive language that in Poe's thing, based upon how people acted at the time. So, because the central figure is a dwarf, person with dwarfism, and so that's kind of part of the point. So we'll see. 8.3 for this, 7.8 for the sequel. Hey Shadow, can you? I'm not playing this now, but can you see what the playtime is on it? You said the rough playtime for this is about 5 hours, and I think for me it ended up being about 4-ish. I think. Boy, that was good. Thank you for playing Far Lone Sails. That ending was so good. The sequence from the mountaintop all the way to the end, and again, it's pace. It's the speed at which something is revealed or not revealed. New Game Plus, you have something that's even higher. I pressed any key. And I hadn't noticed this before, but this picture is probably of his father or something. Anyway. Far changing tides. Because it shows you the Steam game here, which is not Eye of the GOG version. Just because I'm curious. 1999. Sequel's about another 30% longer. Imaginary Exponent nominated. Effect Life. Yeah, very good. Boy in his ship as he embarks on a voyage to find a new home. So this came out 3 years ago. Just looking at it quickly. Oh, look at that. A little more advanced graphically. Captain, a unique ship. I love that he designs it all too. Wow. A lot of FTL vibes for me. Find hope in a changed world. Nice. Very cool. Out now. Very, very cool. Very impressive. Super impressed. It's really good. All right, and it took me literally 4 hours. And I got no achievements. I don't know. I don't feel like I was rushing it. Like what achievements would be I don't know. 4 hours. Okay. Yeah, super cool though. Really, really neat. Okay, Far Lone Sales. Thank you very much for your service. Okay. All right, so chat, I'm going to take just a minute. Great. I am going to close this down. Then I'm going to take just about, say, 3 minutes. And I'll be back at about 11:45. And it'll be time for the Edgar Allan Poe reading, and you will not want to miss that. In fact, let me just pop up the, make sure I have what I need for the reading part of this. Got it. Yes, that's my computer. Yes, sorry. I know that has a tendency to throw people off, and they're like, what is that mine? Yeah, that's my computer. It's because I have two. I have a gaming computer and a streaming computer. So I was when I do this, I'm just switching this off. I was just switching off the gaming computer. So, all right. Yeah, I can imagine that driving me crazy. Okay, so I am going to be back in about 3 minutes or so. I'm going to be prepped and set up. So in the meantime, chat, please talk amongst yourselves. Don't go anywhere. And in just a few minutes, we will be back with our annual Edgar Allan Poe readings, and I will adopt the appropriate persona. So everyone, stick around, hold tight, and I'll be right back. Welcome, members of the world. Welcome, members of Twitch chat. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our reading for the day. This story is by the great Edgar Allan Poe, published in 1849. It is a story called Hop Frog, about someone who loved to tell jokes and what happened to them. You should be aware that this story contains some language of an offensive sort. In fact, part of the story is related to that idea, that when one takes offense, one may also take revenge. Hop Frog by Edgar Allan Poe. I never knew anyone so keenly alive to a joke as the king was. He seemed to live only for joking. To tell a good story of the joke kind, and to tell it well, was the surest road to his favor. Thus it happened that his 7 ministers were all noted for their accomplishments as jokers. They all took after the king, too, in being large, corpulent, oily men, as well as inimitable jokers. Whether people grow fat by joking, or whether there is something in fat itself which predisposes to a joke, I have never been quite able to determine. But certain it is that a lean joker is a rara avis in terris. About the refinements, or as he called them, the ghost of wit, the king troubled himself very little. He had an especial admiration for breadth in a jest, and would often put up with length for the sake of it. Over niceties wearied him. He would have preferred Rabelais' Gargantua to the Zadig of Voltaire, and upon the whole, practical jokes suited his taste far better than verbal ones. At the date of my narrative, professing jesters had not altogether gone out of fashion at court. Several of the great continental powers still retain their fools, who wore motley with caps and bells, and who were expected to be always ready with sharp witticisms at a moment's notice in consideration of the crumbs that fell from the royal table. Our king, as a matter of course, retained his fool. The fact is, he required something in the way of folly, if only to counterbalance the heavy wisdom of the 7 wise men who were his ministers, not to mention himself. His fool, or professional jester, was not only a fool, however. His value was trebled in the eyes of the king by the fact of his being also a dwarf. Dwarfs were as common at court in those days as fools, and many monarchs would have found it difficult to get through their days are rather longer at court than elsewhere, without both a jester to laugh with and a dwarf to laugh at. But as I have already observed, your jesters in 99 cases out of 100 are round and unwieldy, so that it was no small source of self-gratulation with our king that in Hop Frog, this was the fool's name, he possessed a triplicate treasure in one person. I believe the name Hop Frog was not that given to the dwarf by his sponsors at baptism, but it was conferred upon him by general consent of the several ministers on account of his inability to walk as other men do. In fact, Hop Frog could only get along by a sort of interjectional gait, something between a leap and a wriggle, a movement that afforded illimitable amusement and, of course, consolation to the king, for, notwithstanding his stomach and a constitutional swelling of the head, the king by his whole court was accounted a capital figure. But although Hop Frog, through the distortion of his legs, could move only with great pain and difficulty along a road or floor, The prodigious muscular power which nature seemed to have bestowed upon his arms, by way of compensation for deficiency in the lower limbs, enabled him to perform many feats of wonderful dexterity, where trees or ropes were in question, or anything else to climb. At such exercises he certainly much more resembled a squirrel or a small monkey than a frog. I'm not able to say with precision from what country Hop Frog originally came. It was from some barbarous region, however, that no person ever heard of, a vast distance from the court of our king. Hop Frog and a young girl very little less dwarfish than himself, although of exquisite proportions and a marvelous dancer, had been forcibly carried off from their respective homes in adjoining provinces and sent as presents to the king by one of his ever-victorious generals. Under these circumstances, it is not to be wondered at that a close intimacy arose between the two little captives. Indeed, they soon became sworn friends. Hop Frog, who, although he made a great deal of sport, was by no means popular, had it not in his power to render Trippetta many services, but she, on account of her grace and exquisite beauty, was universally admired and petted, so she possessed much influence, and never failed to use it, whenever she could, for the benefit of Hop Frog. On some grand state occasion, I forget what, the king determined to have a masquerade, and whenever a masquerade or anything of that kind occurred at our court, then the talents both of Hop Frog and Trippetta were sure to be called into play. Hop Frog, in especial, was so inventive in the way of getting up pageants, suggesting novel characters, and arranging costumes for masked balls, that nothing could be done, it seemed, without his assistance. The night appointed for the fete had arrived. A gorgeous hall had been fitted up, under Trippetta's eyes, with every kind of device which could possibly give éclat to a masquerade. The whole court was in a fever of expectation. As for costumes and characters, it might well be supposed that everybody had come to a decision on such points. Many had made up their minds as to what roles they should assume a week or even a month in advance, and in fact there was not a particle of indecision anywhere, except in the case of the king and his 7 ministers. Why they hesitated I never could tell, unless they did it by way of a joke. More probably they found it difficult to make up their minds. At all events, time flew, and as a last resort they sent for Trippetta and Hop Frog. When the 2 friends obeyed the summons of the king, they found him sitting at his wine with the 7 members of his cabinet council, but the monarch appeared to be in a very ill humor. He knew that Hop Frog was not fond of wine, for it excited the poor cripple almost to madness, and madness is no comfortable feeling. But the king loved his practical jokes, and took pleasure in forcing Hop Frog to drink and, as the king called it, to be merry. "Come here, Hop Frog," said he, as the jester and his friend entered the room. "Swallow this bumper to the health of your absent friends." Here Hop Frog sighed. "And then let us have the benefit of your invention. We want characters. Characters, man, something novel, out of the way. We are wearied with this everlasting sameness. Come, drink. The wine will brighten your wits." Hop Frog endeavored, as usual, to get up a jest in reply to these advances from the king, but the effort was too much. It happened to be the poor dwarf's birthday, and the command to drink to his absent friends forced the tears to his eyes. Many large, bitter drops fell into the goblet as he took it, humbly, from the hand of the tyrant. "Ah, ha, 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 ha," roared the latter as the dwarf reluctantly drained the beaker. "See what a glass of good wine can do? Why, your eyes are shining already." Poor fellow. His large eyes gleamed rather than shone, for the effect of wine on his excitable brain was not more powerful than instantaneous. He placed the goblet nervously on the table and looked round upon the company with a half-insane stare. They all seemed highly amused at the success of the king's joke. "And now to business," said the prime minister. "Yes," said the king. "Come, lend us your assistance. Characters, my fine fellow. We stand in need of characters. All of us." And as this was seriously meant for a joke, his laugh was chorused by the 7. Hop Frog also laughed, although feebly and somewhat vacantly. "Ah, come, come," said the king impatiently. "Have you nothing to suggest?" "I am endeavoring to think of something novel." replied the dwarf abstractedly, for he was quite bewildered by the wine. Endeavoring, cried the tyrant fiercely. What do you mean by that? I perceive. You are sulky and want more wine. Well, here, drink this. And he poured out another gobletful and offered it to the dwarf, who merely gazed at it, gasping for breath. Drink, I say, shouted the monster, or by the fiends. The dwarf hesitated. The king grew purple with rage. The courtiers smirked. Trippetta, pale as a corpse, advanced to the monarch's seat, and falling on her knees before him, implored him to spare her friend. The tyrant regarded her for some moments in evident wonder at her audacity. He seemed quite at a loss what to do or say, how most becomingly to express his indignation. At last, without uttering a syllable, he pushed her violently from him and threw the contents of the brimming goblet in her face. The poor girl got up the best she could, and not daring even to sigh, resumed her position at the foot of the table. There was a dead silence for about half a minute, during which the falling of a leaf or of a feather might have been heard. It was interrupted by a low but harsh and protracted grating sound, which seemed to come at once from every corner of the room. What are you making that noise for? Demanded the king, turning furiously to the dwarf. The latter seemed to have recovered, in great measure, from his intoxication, and looking fixedly but quietly into the tyrant's face, merely ejaculated, I? How could it have been me? The sound appeared to come from without, observed one of the courtiers. I fancy it was the parrot at the window, whetting his bill upon the cage wires. True, replied the monarch, as if much relieved by the suggestion, but on the honor of a knight I could have sworn that it was the gritting of this vagabond's teeth. Hereupon the dwarf laughed. The king was too confirmed a joker to object to anyone's laughing, and displayed a set of large, powerful, and very repulsive teeth. Moreover, he avowed his perfect willingness to swallow as much wine as desired. The monarch was pacified, and having drained another bumper with no very perceptible ill effect, Hop Frog entered at once and with spirit into the plans for the masquerade. I cannot tell what was the association of idea, observed he very tranquilly, and as if he had never tasted wine in his life. But just after your majesty had struck the girl and thrown the wine in her face, just after your majesty had done this, and while the parrot was making that odd noise outside the window, there came into my mind a capital diversion, one of my own country frolics, often enacted among us at our masquerades, but here it will be new altogether. Unfortunately, however, it requires a company of 8 persons, and here we are, cried the king, laughing at his acute discovery of the coincidence. 8 to a fraction, I and my 7 ministers. Come, what is the diversion? We call it, replied the dwarf, the 8 chained orangutans, and it really is excellent sport if well enacted. We will enact it, remarked the king, drawing himself up and lowering his eyelids. The beauty of the game, continued Hop Frog, lies in the fright it occasions among the women. Capital! Roared in chorus the monarch and his ministry. I will equip you as orangutans, proceeded the dwarf. Leave all that to me. The resemblance shall be so striking that the company of masqueraders will take you for real beasts, and of course they will be as much terrified as astonished. Oh, this is exquisite, exclaimed the king. Hop Frog, I will make a man of you. The chains are for the purpose of increasing the confusion by their jangling. You are supposed to have escaped en masse from your keepers. Your majesty cannot conceive the effect produced at a masquerade by 8 chained orangutans imagined to be real ones by most of the company, and rushing in with savage cries among the crowd of delicately and gorgeously habited men and women. The contrast is inimitable. It must be, said the king, and the council arose hurriedly as it was growing late to put in execution the scheme of Hop Frog. His mode of equipping the party as orangutans was very simple, but effective enough for his purposes. The animals in question had, at the epoch of my story, very rarely been seen in any part of the civilized world, and as the imitations made by the dwarf were sufficiently beast-like and more than sufficiently hideous, their truthfulness to nature was thus taught to be secured. The king and his ministers were first encased in tight-fitting stockinette shirts and drawers. They were then saturated with tar. At this stage of the process, someone of the party suggested feathers, but the suggestion was once overruled by the dwarf, who soon convinced the eight, by ocular demonstration, that the hair of such a brute as the orangutan was much more efficiently represented by flax. A thick coating of the latter was accordingly plastered upon the coating of tar. A long chain was now procured. First it was passed about the waist of the king and tied, then about another of the party and also tied, then about all successfully in the same manner. When this chaining arrangement was complete and the party stood as far apart from each other as possible, they formed a circle, and to make all things appear natural, Hop Frog passed the residue of the chain in 2 diameters at right angles across the circle, after the fashion adopted at the present day by those who capture chimpanzees or other large apes in Borneo. The grand saloon in which the masquerade was to take place was a circular room, very lofty, and receiving the light of the sun only through a single window at top. At night, the season for which the apartment was especially designed, it was illuminated principally by a large chandelier, depending by a chain from the center of the skylight, and lowered or elevated by means of a counterbalance as usual. But, in order not to look unsightly, this latter passed outside the cupola and over the roof. The arrangements of the room had been left to Trippetta's superintendence, but in some particulars, it seems, she had been guided by the calmer judgment of her friend the dwarf. At his suggestion it was that on this occasion the chandelier was removed. Its waxen drippings, which in weather so warm it was quite impossible to prevent, would have been seriously detrimental to the rich dresses of the guests, who, on account of the crowded state of the saloon, could not all be expected to keep from out its center, that is to say, from under the chandelier. Additional sconces were set in various parts of the hall out of the war, and a flambeau emitting sweet odor was placed in the right hand of each of the caratites that stood against the wall, some 50 or 60 altogether. The 8 orangutans, taking Hop Frog's advice, waited patiently until midnight, when the room was thoroughly filled with masqueraders, before making their appearance. No sooner had the clock ceased striking, however, than they rushed, or rather rolled in altogether, for the impediments of their chains caused most of the party to fall, and all to stumble as they entered. The excitement among the masqueraders was prodigious, and filled the heart of the king with glee. As had been anticipated, there were not a few of the guests who supposed the ferocious-looking creatures to be beasts of some kind in reality, if not precisely orangutans. Many of the women swooned with affright, and had not the king taken the precaution to exclude all weapons from the saloon, his party might soon have expiated their frolic in their blood. As it was, a general rush was made for the doors, but the king had ordered them to be locked immediately upon his entrance, and at the dwarf's suggestion, the keys had been deposited with him. While the tumult was at its height, and each masquerader attentive only to his own safety, for in fact there was much real danger from the pressure of the excited crowd, the chain by which the chandelier ordinarily hung, and which had been drawn up on its removal, might have been seen very gradually to descend, until its hooked extremity came within 3 feet of the floor. Soon after this, the king and his 7 friends, having reeled about the hall in all directions, found themselves at length in its center, and of course in immediate contact with the chain. While they were thus situated, the dwarf, who had followed noiselessly at their heels, inciting them to keep up the commotion, took hold of their own chain at the intersection of the 2 portions which crossed the circle diametrically and at right angles. Here, with the rapidity of thought, he inserted the hook from which the chandelier had been wont to depend, and in an instant, by some unseen agency, the chandelier chain was drawn so far upward as to take the hook out of reach, and as an inevitable consequence, to drag the orangutans together in close connection, and face to face. The masqueraders by this time had recovered in some measure from their alarm, and beginning to regard the whole matter as a well-contrived pleasantry, set up a loud shout of laughter at the predicament of the apes. "Leave them to me!" now screamed Hop Frog, his shrill voice making itself easily heard through all the din. "Leave them to me! I fancy I know them. If I can only get a good look at them, I can soon tell who they are." Here, scrambling over the heads of the crowd, he managed to get to the wall, when, seizing a flambeau from one of the caratites, he returned as he went to the center of the room, leaping with the agility of a monkey upon the king's head, and thence clambered a few feet up the chain, holding down the torch to examine the group of orangutans, and still screaming, "I shall soon find out who they are!" And now, while the whole assembly, the apes included, were convulsed with laughter, the jester suddenly uttered a shrill whistle, when the chain flew violently up for about 30 feet, dragging with it the dismayed and struggling orangutans, and leaving them suspended in midair between the skylight and the floor. Hopfrog, clinging to the chain as it rose, still maintained his relative position in respect to the 8 maskers, and still, as if nothing were the matter, continued to thrust his torch down toward them, as though endeavoring to discover who they were. So thoroughly astonished was the whole company at this ascent that a dead silence of about a minute's duration ensued. It was broken by just such a low, harsh, grating sound as had before attracted the attention of the king and his counselors when the former threw the wine in the face of Trippetta. But on the present occasion there could be no question as to whence the sound issued. It came from the fang-like teeth of the dwarf, who ground them and gnashed them as he foamed at the mouth and glared with an expression of maniacal rage into the upturned countenances of the king and his 7 companions. "Aha!" said at length the infuriated jester. "Aha! I begin to see who these people are now." Here, pretending to scrutinize the king more closely, he held the flambeau to the flaxen coat which enveloped him and which instantly burst into a sheet of vivid flame. In less than half a minute, the whole 8 orangutans were blazing fiercely amid the shrieks of the multitude who gazed at them from below, horror-stricken and without the power to render them the slightest assistance. At length, the flames, suddenly increasing in virulence, forced the jester to climb higher up the chain to be out of their reach, and as he made this movement, the crowd again sank for a brief instant into silence. The dwarf seized his opportunity and once more spoke. "I now see distinctly," he said, "what manner of people these maskers are. They are a great king and his 7 privy councillors, a king who does not scruple to strike a defenseless girl, and his 7 councillors who abet him in the outrage. As for myself, I am simply Hopfrog the jester, and this is my last jest." Owing to the high combustibility of both the flax and tar to which it adhered, the dwarf had scarcely made an end of his brief speech before the work of vengeance was complete. The 8 corpses swung in their chains, a fetid, blackened, hideous, and indistinguishable mass. The cripple hurled his torch at them, clambered leisurely to the ceiling, and disappeared through the skylight. It is supposed that Trippetta, stationed on the roof of the saloon, had been the accomplice of her friend in his fiery revenge, and that together they effected their escape to their own country, for neither was seen again. Perhaps some jokes are not funny to some people. I hope you appreciated this jest. Let us conclude, then, with one of the most famous of the master's poems. Before I do, I will thank all of you for having attended Arvin Eleron's annual Halloween stream. I will ask you to follow his channel, to support his YouTube, to come to the Discord, to go to his web pages, to support the channel with subscriptions, Patreon support, to consider as well supporting him in the publishing vein by purchasing his stories. He will return on Tuesday. But for now, let us conclude with the final poem of the evening, the final poem of Halloween. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, published 1845. Once, upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now to still the beating of my heart I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you." Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or strayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of never, nevermore." But the raven, still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then, upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, "Nevermore." This I sat engaged and guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then, methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. "Wretch," I cried, "thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempest sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Be that word our sign in parting, bird or fiend," I shrieked upstarting, "get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. It has been a pleasure to once again return you to the work of Edgar Allan Poe. Thank you for your time, for your attention, and may we meet again more than nevermore. If we do, then Arvin will return on Tuesday. But for now I leave you to your thoughts, to the shadows, to the end of Halloween, and to the darkness. Happy Halloween, everyone. Quoth all of you, nevermore.
close to midnight, and something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes us out before you're naked. Yeah, you start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is thriller, and no one's gonna save you from the beast that's about to strike. You know it's thriller, and fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. You hear the door slam and realize that there's nowhere left to run. You feel the cold hands and wonder if you'll ever see the sun. You close your eyes and hope that this is just imagination, girl. But all the while, you hear a creature creeping up behind, and you're out of time. 'Cause this is thriller, there ain't no second chance to kiss a thing with 40 eyes, girl. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. Night creatures crawling, the dead start to walk in their masquerade. No, there's no escaping the jaws of this alien tonight. This is the end of your life. Come on. Thriller, 'cause I can thrill you more than any ghouls would ever dare try. So let me hold you tight and share a killer thriller tonight. Thriller, girl, I can thrill you more than any ghoul would ever dare try. So let me hold you tight inside a killer thriller tonight. I'm gonna thrill you tonight.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell. The foulest stenches in the air, the funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to